Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you know that I'm a bit of a Sezane addict, and for Christmas I ordered a very large collection of knitwear. I wanted to add to my already existing Sezane collection, and the reason I ordered so many different knitwear pieces was because in my previous experience Sezane knitwear has been quite itchy, especially the kid mohair and super kid mohair blends. They have been historically very itchy for me, and that's why I wanted to try on their most popular jumpers and their latest collection of knitwear and see if any of them work for me. So I already have a few of them. Unfortunately, they were quite itchy and I didn't understand it at that time, and some of these are 2-3 years old. In addition to the ones that I already own, I wanted to add a couple of more pieces this year because their winter and autumn collection has been absolutely stunning. And without much further ado, let's get right into reviewing the itchiness metric of about 14 Sezane jumpers. Let's start with this one. This is a part of their new collection. So this is the Natalia Jumper. You've seen this. If you haven't seen this already, I reviewed this in my haul video, which I will link in the screen somewhere. I quite like this jumper. This is such a pretty one with open knitwork. I'm not going to get into the details of the jumper, but this is a super kid mohair blend with merino wool, elastane and polyamide. Usually these jumpers are quite itchy for me. This one I'm wearing on bare skin. You will need to wear this on bare skin. You can't wear anything underneath it. It will show. On bare skin it doesn't feel as itchy. So in my itchiness metric, I would actually rank this quite low. So this is probably 2 or 3 out of 10. It's definitely not a 0. It's not as comfortable as Sezane's cotton knitwear or merino wool knitwear, but this is probably a 2 or a 3. 2.5 out of 10. When it comes to the itchiness, I can wear it on bare skin and get away with it. This one is the beautiful Angelo Cardigan. It has such lovely lacework, open knitwork detailing in front and the lovely V-neck. This has exactly the same material composition as the previous jumper that I tried on, the Natalia. It's a mix of kid mohair, wool, polyamide and elastane. It feels a little bit more itchy than the previous one, if I'm being completely honest. On the scale of itchiness, I'd probably put this as a 5. Unfortunately, like the previous jumper, you cannot exactly wear something underneath it and quite get away. Most of the itchiness I feel is on my arms, not so much on the body itself, but on the arms it feels quite itchy. It's quite a shame because I really liked this jumper. The color is very unique. It's called peony, and that's like the perfect name for this color. It's not a pink, it's somewhere between a lilac and a pink, and it's also quite cool toned, and it looks very pretty and very unique, the colorway. And that's probably the reason why I had to place such a massive order of Sezane knitwear, to understand whether these pieces, even though they look so lovely, would actually work in my wardrobe, because I have extremely sensitive skin and tend to feel the itchiness a lot when it comes to these jumpers. This is a new purchase. This is the Karolina Cardigan. This was Sezane's collaboration collection with Maria Della Orden. I loved the color when I saw this. I was like, yes, this is it. This is my cardigan. This is my favorite color. I love pink. I love the lettuce sleeves, the open knitwork, but it is so itchy. Everything I liked about the cardigan when I tried it on ended up being everything I hated about it. It makes me look a little bit like a grandma. But other than that, it's just so itchy. This again is a fabric that contains super kid mohair, wool, polyamide and elastane. It's a fuzzy jumper. It's got the open knitwork, so you can't even wear something underneath it. I mean, you could, but it's not going to look as pretty. If you are looking for to purchase this jumper, just know that it's got quite itchy. I put this on the scale around 6.5. It's almost, yeah, as itchy as the Gaspard. Yeah, that's what I would say. If you own a Gaspard, it's about as itchy as it, maybe a little bit itchier, but because it's got the open knitwork, you will not be able to wear anything underneath it. This next one here is the Hollie jumper. This is again kid mohair and wool and elastane and polyamide blend. Very typical Sezane fabric. I love the way the jumper looks. They have brought it out again this season, but I had purchased mine last year. I have lived my pregnancy in this jumper. It's very roomy, but when it comes to itchiness, it is also very, very itchy. I would mark it as high as maybe a 6, 7. Yeah, a 7 on this scale, the itchiness scale. And that's because I don't know, it's just high neck, it itches everywhere when I put it on my bare skin. But the good thing is that because it's not one of those open knitwork jumpers that Sezane sells, you can actually wear a full sleeved cotton top underneath this and get away with it, which is exactly how I wear this jumper. And because of the material, it is also very, very warm. I only have the opportunity of wearing this on very, very cold days and when I'll be outside most of the time, because this is not the jumper you want to wear into a very crowded tube. I've done it. I have suffocated. I felt like I was going to evaporate. It was so hot wearing this inside the London tube. But this looks stunning. They have a different colorway of this available as well. I don't know if that's still in stock, but they did bring out a different lighter color for this. This is very oversized in fit. I have the size XS on and it's very, very loose and very, very long and extremely itchy. This one here is the Joyce jumper in the shade Raisin or Grape. So instead of kid mohair, this jumper contains super kid mohair, but this is also a very popular Sezane blend. I don't know if it's the super kid mohair component of the jumper, but it's definitely less itchy than many of the other jumpers. I would probably put this at a 4. I can get away with wearing a jumper like this on a very cold day on bare skin. But again, the beauty of a jumper like this is that you can actually get away with wearing a cotton inner or a thermal layer underneath this jumper and it won't feel so bad against your skin because it's not an open knit. There's going to be no issue with disturbing the aesthetic of the jumper. It's a very pretty color. It's also quite lightweight. It's not quite as thick or chunky as some of Sezane's other cardigan, especially not the Hollie cardigan. The Hollie jumper that I was tried on just before, that's definitely a thicker material, so it's going to be heavier. This is much lighter, so probably another reason why it's not as itchy. So definitely put it as a 4.5 on the itchiness scale. I could get away with wearing this outside on bare skin on a very cold day. I have come to realize that sometimes the itchiness of these jumpers really depends on how hot-blooded you are. I run quite warm, so in general I don't feel that cold even on really, really cold days unless I'm like outside most of the time. So if you run a little colder than I do, then you can probably get away with wearing some of these cardigans that I have ranked as quite itchy, maybe on the scale less than 5. You can probably get away with wearing them, or if you live in very, very cold climate. This here is probably the Trudy Jumper. Sezane has 2 of the similar kinds of jumpers. One is called Trudy and another one is called Rudy. They have both got the same fabric. I guess the cut is a little different. This is the Trudy. I think it is the Trudy because I purchased this 2.5 years ago. It's a lovely color, stunning color. They don't sell this anymore, but I will link the other 2 variations and all the colorways that we have in the description box below. This is the first time that I purchased a Sezane knit without knowing what the itchiness factor was, and it ended up being a disaster. I am barely able to wear this jumper. This has a very high itchiness scale, would put it at 8 8.5 right alongside the Hollie jumper. The good thing is that I can wear something underneath this and get away with it, but it is so warm that I find it very difficult to wear, especially because whenever I go to office, I have to take the tube, take the train, walk. It's just not conducive to my lifestyle. I get very hot and I feel like taking it off the minute I get into an enclosed space. Is despite of how beautiful the color is and how beautiful the yarn and the threading is, it's very itchy. Would put it right up at 8.5. I'm not sure if they have improved the quality of the fabric in the Trudy jumper, but I don't think so. It's got exactly the same material composition as this jumper, so I'm expecting that it's going to be very itchy as well. This here is the Amiel jumper in the color Pacific Blue. I picked it up in my previous haul, which I will link in the description box as well. Unlike the other cardigans that I was talking about, this is a composition of baby alpaca and elastane and polyamide. So this does not contain merino wool or mohair, kid mohair, super kid mohair, either one of those variations. This is a very warm jumper. It's a chunky knit and it's not as itchy as any of those other jumpers. In fact, I would go as to put the itchiness at a 1, which I think is the lowest if you consider the merino wool knits and the cotton knits to be at a 0. Then this is a 1. It's definitely, there is something, I feel something on my skin, but it's nowhere near as uncomfortable as the Trudy Jumper, as the Hollie Jumper, or even the Angelo Cardigan. So all of them are a lot itchier than this, but this is a lot thicker in material than any of the jumpers that I've tried on before, or any of the cardigans as well. This has a thick closed knit, so even if you do feel a little, you will be able to wear something underneath it and it will not show. I think I could get away with wearing it on bare skin. I'm not sure how it's going to be on in enclosed spaces, or when you're walking around a lot, or in the tube where it's lots of people present. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that it will not be as itchy as the Super Kid Mohair blends, simply because it doesn't have that fuzzy fabric. So many of times I feel like those fuzzy fabric scrapes against your bare skin and generates static electricity, which makes you feel even worse and a little nauseous. So this one has a smooth blend, so probably will not generate as much of static electricity. If you're going to be traveling to a colder place, or if you live in a very cold place, this is a good option. This is definitely not meant for those mild winters. This is the Lizzy Cardigan, very similar to the Brie cardigan that Sezane has. I purchased this for the party season, but unfortunately it did not work out because of how itchy it is. I'm going to put this on the itchiness scale at an 8 because I really feel it along my arms. It's a shame because it's a very party appropriate cardigan. This contains kid mohair, wool, polyamide and elastane, so not super kid mohair but kid mohair. I don't know if that makes any difference, but it's very itchy, that's all I can say. It's a very fuzzy knit, so again probably that's why it's so itchy. It's probably generating static electricity when it's rubbing against my skin in this dry weather. The cut of it is, I don't know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's quite boxy, so it's not one of my favorite things. And I would never keep this because of how uncomfortable I feel when I wear this. It's like I just want to take it off immediately. So if you are highly tolerant, then only I would recommend that you go for this jumper. I guess you might be able to wear something and get away with it, but I don't think so. This is one of those jumpers that just itch no matter what. This here again is one of my favorite Sezane jumpers. It's the Maha jumper in the color Sandstone. Again, a blend of merino wool and cotton with a little bit of elastane and polyester, unfortunately. but this jumper is not itchy at all. I'll put it at 0. So if you want something that is super comfortable, get a merino wool and cotton merino wool blend jumper from Sezane with your eyes closed, and you will never have to worry about them being itchy. This is Sezane's iconic Gaspard. This is in the color Sage, I think. Yes, this is the only Gaspard that I own, and I did a whole review video about my top 5 Sezane knits where I featured this as an honorable mention because it didn't make it to my top 5 because of how itchy it is. This is a blend of super cube mohair, alpaca, polyamide and elastane. So it does not contain the usual merino wool, but this is also a very popular Sezane blend. All the Gaspards have the same composition, and again, I suppose it's a super kid mohair, which makes this quite uncomfortable, but the alpaca bit makes this a very lightweight cardigan. So it's definitely not as warm as the Amiel that I had just tried on. It's much more lighter, a thinner material, but it's still quite itchy. I would put it on, I'll put it midway. I'll give it a 5 because I do wear it sometimes, but I just don't think it's comfortable enough. But it's one of those Sezane's iconic pieces. You love it or you hate it. I have a lot of complaints about this jumper. It's not just the itchiness, but the itchiness is right on top. I also don't like the cut of the jumper. I don't think it suits me. But a 5 out of 10. It's quite itchy, but I guess you could get away with it. You can style it differently. You can wear something underneath it. It won't quite show unless you have it completely open. You're wearing it as a cardigan, then anyway you will be wearing something underneath this. It's a tricky one. That's why I put it right in the middle at 5. It's definitely not as comfortable as the Amiel or the Natalia that I tried on, but yeah. This one here is the Brie Jumper. This is 100% cotton. It's a cotton knit from Sezane. It has the same fit and the same Henley color as the Leontine jumper, which is very popular, but I don't see any of the Sezane lovers talk about this jumper. I love this jumper. I love the cable knit. I love the color, that it's ecru and not absolutely white, and because it's 100% cotton, it's not going to itch. It's got 0 itch. It is so comfortable, but obviously it's not feasible for very cold weather. So if you live in a climate that has milder winters, then these sorts of jumpers work wonders, and you can again buy them with your eyes closed because of how comfortable they are. And I have had this one for 3.5 years. They last. That's all I can say. If you take care of the jumpers, they do last. This here is my true tried and tested Betti Cardigan. This is 100% merino wool, so needless to say, it's the softest fabric that Sezane sells, and this is not itchy at all. I wear it on my bare skin all the time and it feels very nice and breathable, so highly recommend a Betti Cardigan if you don't have one already. I've gone through all the merits and demerits of this cardigan in one of my previous videos, my top 5 Sezane knits, which I will link in the description box or somewhere in the screen if you want to check it out. But again, any of Sezane's merino wool blends are not itchy, as you will see for the rest of the video. So that's all for trying out my whole Sezane knitwear collection and all the massive haul that I made on Sezane to find one piece that I will be keeping for this Christmas and winter season. I am yet to decide on which one I should keep, so please let me know in your comments below which of these jumpers I should be keeping. I'm still making up my mind, but thank you so much for watching this video. Please do consider subscribing. That would mean a lot to me, and see you in the next video. Bye!